It's not every day you see Hollywood's brightest power couple at risk of losing it all. For years, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds enchanted fans as the industry's ultimate sweethearts, building entire brands around their playful banter and down-to-earth persona. Yet behind that polished facade, a colossal legal and PR disaster has reportedly shattered their pristine image. From bribery rumors and leaked audio to bizarre accusations of toxic positivity, it seems every new revelation is more scandalous than the last. The question on everyone's lips: how did America's favorite celebrity duo wind up entangled in one of Hollywood's ugliest legal battles? And will they manage to emerge from the wreckage at all? No one expected Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, often heralded for their wit and philanthropic efforts, to stand at the heart of a controversy this large. Their public persona thrived on romantic Instagram posts and lighthearted interviews, so the notion of them stepping into a courtroom seemed unthinkable. That is, until rumors of a high-stakes lawsuit began swirling, casting deep shadows over their once flawless image. Word spread that Lively had filed an extraordinarily extensive complaint, one that allegedly stretched over 180 pages, against a former collaborator named Justin Baldoni. To the outside world, the dispute sounded ridiculous at first. Lively supposedly claimed serious wrongdoing on set, while Baldoni countered with claims that the entire suit was nothing more than a PR-driven circus. Fans who were used to the couple's comedic tweets and close-knit friendships found themselves bewildered. How could these warm, charismatic personalities be embroiled in a legal meltdown involving bribes, blacklists, and hush-hush deals? Yet the more people dug, the more complicated the story became. Seemingly trivial grievances escalated into big accusations. Rumors began to leak about clandestine attempts to influence the judge, shady legal strategies, and even the involvement of former intelligence operatives. Suddenly, those bright smiles that once won over fans started looking more like a mask for something far darker. And soon enough, that darkness intensified, because explosive new evidence would make the entire case look more like a Hollywood thriller than a routine courtroom drama. Legal documents typically run in the tens of pages, especially when detailing workplace disputes or defamation claims. Blake Lively's initial court filing, however, reportedly ballooned into a manuscript that rivaled a fantasy epic. It went far beyond standard accusations, weaving a narrative about traumatic scenes and unethical behavior on set, claims Lively insisted had been hidden for too long. But observers quickly pointed out something unusual. Much of the content didn't read like a legal argument at all. Instead, it seemed peppered with anecdotes designed to sway public opinion, references to industry gossip, and dramatic flourishes better suited to tabloid headlines. Baldoni's team wasted no time calling it out as a PR ploy disguised as a lawsuit. What's more, the complaint apparently underwent countless revisions. Each time the narrative shifted, it introduced new smoking gun details that never quite delivered the fatal blow. Some suspected Lively and her representatives were throwing everything they could onto the page, hoping something would finally stick. It was a tactic that might work in showbiz, where rewriting a script or re-editing a scene can salvage a storyline. But in a court of law, such maneuvers tend to raise eyebrows. Once the legal community started asking questions, an unexpected piece of evidence emerged that turned the entire conversation upside down. In the midst of all the accusations, a leaked audio recording began circulating, allegedly involving powerful industry players like Ari Emanuel. Emanuel, known to be one of Hollywood's most influential agents, seemed to confirm that Justin Baldoni had been blacklisted not because of guilt or scandalous proof, but simply because he associated with the wrong people. Those wrong people? Reportedly, none other than Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds themselves. This revelation threatened to blow apart Lively's carefully crafted position. Instead of being the helpless party, it painted her as someone wielding immense behind-the-scenes power. If Lively and Reynolds truly had enough clout to get an actor blacklisted, it suggested they were no mere victims. The entire case, in fact, started looking more like a power move, especially once rumors surfaced that WME, Baldoni's former agency, had severed ties immediately after Lively's allegations surfaced. Things grew even more suspicious when a popular podcast episode that contained this audio went missing without explanation. Many speculated that higher-ups, hoping to dodge potential fallout, had forced the show's producers to remove the episode. But in the age of the internet, once something leaks, it rarely stays hidden. The audio remained out there, fueling a media firestorm and discrediting the victim narrative Lively's team was working so hard to maintain. But that was only the beginning. Because in Hollywood's most bizarre twist yet, the next scandal to rock this lawsuit was strangely centered on being too nice. You'd think after bribery whispers and allegations of blacklisting, the scandal cannon would have run out of ammunition. Instead, it fired again when Lively's side pushed a new storyline. Justin Baldoni wasn't just guilty of whatever Lively claimed, he was guilty of toxic positivity. The Los Angeles Times picked up the story, running a piece that claimed Baldoni's overly upbeat behavior on set was manipulative and controlling. The evidence? He encouraged colleagues to sign emails with phrases like, "So much love." He was known for uplifting cast morale, and he occasionally recorded charitable deeds on camera. The entire premise baffled many observers. Sure, not everyone responds well to relentless optimism, but calling it toxic positivity made some wonder if Lively's team was flailing for any narrative that might stick. Especially after the fiasco with the missing audio, it seemed, they were scrambling to pivot the conversation away from the blacklisting charges. Critics snickered at the idea that a person could be dragged into court for being too kind, while supporters of Lively argued that constant positivity could mask deeper manipulations. But this wasn't the only curious angle Lively's camp introduced. Anonymous. Witnesses soon stepped into the fray, fueling an even bigger question. Were these stories real, or mere inventions to bolster a losing case? A tactic straight out of a tabloid. When in doubt, produce new accusers. That seemed to be the approach Lively's side took as soon as skepticism about her claims intensified. Two unnamed actresses suddenly emerged, claiming experiences eerily similar to Lively's. However, observers noted a glaring issue. There was no documentation, not even initials, linking these individuals to a credible legal filing. In typical Hollywood fashion, gossip sites teased the existence of these shadowy witnesses, but mainstream outlets largely avoided the story. It wasn't that they lacked interest. After all, a scandal like this would ordinarily draw massive traffic. Instead, insiders whispered that major publications saw zero substantiating evidence. Some speculated that media houses, once friendly to Lively, were now wary of publishing unverified accusations after the blacklisting fiasco began turning public sentiment. Desperation hints became more apparent. Lively's team, rumored to be orchestrating these announcements, found themselves in a bind. Each sensational claim was met with greater skepticism, as if the public had grown tired of a never-ending stream of uncorroborated stories. In the past, well-placed leaks might have shaped the narrative favorably, but with so many contradictory statements piling up, these new witnesses only fueled suspicion. Soon enough, even more shocking theories emerged, ones that hinted at bribery so vast it seemed impossible to hide. But in Hollywood, the more outlandish the rumor, the more seriously some people take it. If your allegations lack bite, toss in the rumor of a $100 million bribe. That's precisely what blindsided the legal conversation next. Whispers circulated that someone on Lively's side might have been willing to push 9 figures to keep explosive evidence hidden from public view. Of course, no official source confirmed this, but the rumor alone was enough to ignite frenzied speculation. At the same time, Lively's lawyers filed for an attorney's eyes only order. In ordinary court proceedings, certain sensitive documents may indeed be restricted to legal teams, but critics argued that this was an extraordinary attempt to muzzle crucial evidence. Many asked, if the truth was on Lively's side, why would she want to bury important documents so deeply that not even the defendant or the judge could see them? Judge Lyman, who oversaw the case, didn't take kindly to these maneuvers. Observers in the courtroom noted that the judge seemed increasingly frustrated with the circus-like atmosphere, indicating that justice is meant to serve the public, not shield wealthy celebrities from embarrassment. Even if Lively feared irreparable harm to her image, the judge was apparently unwilling to compromise due process. It's hard to imagine how things could spiral further. Yet, in a desperate bid for damage control, the next play was not just routine PR or hush money. It was cloak and dagger stuff straight from the corridors of espionage. For many celebrities, hiring a powerful PR firm is step one in weathering a scandal. But Lively and Reynolds reportedly took it to the next level, bringing in ex-CIA professionals with a history of orchestrating global-level spin campaigns. The rumor set Hollywood buzzing. Why on earth would a star couple need intelligence operatives to handle what was, on the surface, a simple legal dispute? Sources allege that these were the same sorts of individuals governments employ to bury national security secrets or sway public opinion in times of crisis. If that's the caliber of help Lively and Reynolds thought necessary, it suggested a level of desperation rarely seen in a celebrity feud. After all, typical damage control might involve a well-placed photo op or a heartwarming magazine interview. Here, though, it looked like everything short of rewriting reality was being attempted. Insiders say even these ex-intelligence personnel quickly realized they had an uphill battle. Meanwhile, the mainstream PR firm that had once championed Lively's image was said to be throwing up its hands. Rumor had it that Leslie Sloan PR, one of Hollywood's best-known crisis management outfits, wanted out of the arrangement entirely. When your own spin doctors decide you're not worth saving, it's often the final red flag that a case has reached irreparable levels of scandal. But ironically, the final piece of the puzzle may have come from another star altogether, someone whose private messages could blow the entire suit wide open. It's no secret that Blake Lively and Taylor Swift are famously close friends. They've been spotted on vacation together, shared playful social media posts, and seemed practically inseparable on red carpets. Yet now, those cozy friendships may be at the center of an alleged cover-up. When court documents hinted at hidden text messages involving Swift, fans and skeptics alike began to wonder, just how far does this conspiracy go? According to courtroom chatter, Lively and Reynolds fought tooth and nail to keep these messages sealed, arguing that their disclosure would cause irreparable harm. If Swift's texts truly contained exonerating proof, one would assume Lively's team would welcome their release. But instead, they seemed almost terrified at the prospect of them going public. Speculation ranged from irreverent jokes about industry blacklisting to possible instructions on how to spin Baldoni's allegations. Not surprisingly, the moment this rumor hit, public curiosity reached a fever pitch. What could be so damning? In a few text messages that a celeb power couple would risk even greater legal blowback by fighting their release. The official answer remains locked behind legal motions and confidentiality claims. But the damage to Lively and Reynolds' credibility is already done. By trying so hard to hide the truth, they confirmed that something worth hiding must exist. Having reached the point of no return, the question is whether the couple will attempt to settle, or if this fiasco is bound for a jaw-dropping trial, one that might ultimately bury their reputations for good. Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds once stood as the epitome of Hollywood charm, admired for their humor, philanthropic spirit, and enviably stable relationship. Now, they find themselves in an all-consuming legal quagmire that's laid bare questionable tactics and behind-the-scenes machinations most fans never saw coming. From the suspicious 180-page complaint to the leaked audio implicating power brokers in covert blacklisting, from the bizarre toxic positivity slant to whisperings of a 9-figure hush money attempt, every twist has cast the couple in a progressively harsher light. Adding ex-CIA spin masters into the mix and desperately shielding Taylor Swift's private messages only reinforces the belief that something bigger and far more sinister lurks beneath the surface. Whether or not Lively and Reynolds actually committed every wrongdoing alleged is for a judge, and potentially a jury, to decide. But what's undeniable is that their once untouchable reputations have taken a massive blow. Will they somehow maneuver a settlement and quietly vanish from the courtroom, salvaging what little goodwill remains? Or is this heading for a spectacular, public trial that might redefine how Hollywood power couples operate behind closed doors? As things stand, not even the savviest PR wizard can fully reverse the public skepticism now swirling around them. What's your take on this entire debacle? Are we witnessing the fall of a beloved Hollywood duo, or can they still stage a comeback? Keep your eyes on this chaotic legal battle, because if there's one thing we've learned, it's that each new revelation turns the story in an even more shocking direction. And in an industry built on controlling the narrative, losing that narrative is the ultimate downfall.